Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, April 2nd, and we are going through the European account now. Let's see if we can trade something out. What do we want to trade out? Minions that cost 5 or more, or 2 or less. Let's get rid of 5 or more, which means keep the 2 wins, which was honestly, that was a bad decision because now I have 2 wins on something and 2 wins on something else. Let's see if we can find a Murloc deck to play and hop right in. Now, Sunday was April Fool's Day, so that's going to affect our ability to tell the truth so much. Since all my news comes from the internet, it's possible that some of this is going to fall through and turn out to be wrong. Paladin will work if I play as this Paladin Murloc deck, and the month has ended, so we want to get back up to rank 20 if we can. I spent the last recording covering the April Fool's Day jokes, or some of them, giving them kind of just a brief sampling of all the video game related April Fool's Day's jokes. I really don't enjoy April Fool's Day. It is just a complete and total wasted day for somebody who spends a lot of time getting their information on the internet. And because it was a Sunday, I think that helped Steam not really have any games come out. I doubt too many people are going to spend $100 for an April Fool's Day joke to put a game on Steam Direct, but people certainly do put terrible games on Steam Direct all the time for that fee. Speaking of games, who knows if it's terrible or not, we've got another game that came out April 1st called Shapestorm, and it looks like it is maybe an asteroid game, or maybe it is just a collection of a bunch of shapes on the screen with no reason or rhyme, as far as I can tell. It says navigate the storm of shapes to collect the glowing orbs. It has no reviews. It's 99 cents. It's funny. It's the only game by this developer called PC Cakes, and the publisher is labeled as self-published. So they didn't even fill out the form correctly, and Steam still let them in. Wow. Yeah, nothing here for this game. I'm gonna have to learn to not spend any time whatsoever on games that just don't matter. Because when there are a lot of games to talk about, spending that extra 5 seconds on every single one to say, oh yeah, it has no reviews and all of that, that's it. Let's see. Now, I don't believe this is an April Fool's Day story, but it did happen on April Fool's Day, so I'm not sure. But PC Gamer has an article that says the CSGO commentator Sadokist, Sadokist, has been suspended from Twitch after using racist language. He also told another member of the community to kill himself in a live stream on Friday night. So, I am, again, maybe this is all a joke. It seems like it's not a very funny joke, if it is, because it doesn't seem like it's obvious, and that's a problem. Like, jokes should be obvious that there's jokes. That's why stand-up comedy is a very good venue to do jokes in, and probably the best and only good venue to do jokes in these days. It says during the Friday night stream, Trivet used the N-word to taunt while taunting a friend. The full stream is unavailable to watch, but the clip was immediately posted to social media. You can view it here. So I guess Hmm. Hmm. So, I mean, I guess I'm taking this as a serious story. The uh, so I don't know, like I guess you take it as it is. I don't watch Counter Strike Go, so I don't even know if this guy's a real person. I did see a non-video game related YouTube video on April Fool's Day that seemed like somebody was talking about something that never actually happened. Uh, just like a fake scandal that he had just made up as an April Fool's Day joke, which again, it only makes sense if you have such a accurate grasp on the scene, for in this instance like the Counter-Strike Go scene, to know for a fact that A, this person doesn't exist, or B, they would never do that, or it didn't happen. Moving on, the Castle Disaster came out April 1st. It has one review. Imperium Games is the publisher. They have it 40% off for 59 cents. And let's see what this game looks like. It looks like an MS Paint top-down real-time strategy game with really, really bad graphics. I don't know why people do this. Video game developers' bar for quality is just way lower. Way lower than people who buy the games, who actually buy the games, bar for quality should be. So the one review I have is labeled as not being in English. So is this a new thing that they're doing where they are developers are labeling things as not being in English to hide bad reviews? It's like the negative review here goes, is it a strategy? No. Is it an adventure? No. Is it a clicker? No. Is it a simulation? No. Is it a game? No. What is it then? An achievement spammer. And see, that's more confusing here, is that this game didn't immediately stand out as an achievement game. And only when I look now and see that it says it has 999 Steam achievements, now do I realize why people might buy that. Like, I still don't get why people want to have thousands and thousands of unearned and unimportant achievements. Particularly because the end goal of this is probably going to turn into Steam removing achievements from people, and just hiding them from achievement spamming games. Next game we have, which looks like it is a real game, is called Epistory Typing Chronicles. EPISTORY. It came out March 30th. It's rated very positive. 95% of 66 reviewers. It's from a developer that also made, let's see, well, nothing really that I see. How do I have this game in my library already? Why do I own this game? Is this a free-to-play game? No, it isn't. So why is it in my inventory? I must have bought this when it was on sale earlier. Interesting. It's always weird to wander across a game that you already own. Let's see. I don't even know what I'm trying to do. I think I'm trying to get victories. Hmm. So what kind of game is this, since I have it and should probably play it? I think it's a typing game. Ah, yes, it is a typing game. You are sort of doing a tower defense riding a fox. It looks like you're riding a fox and running from area to area, and typing seems to build the world up and defeat enemies, and so every action is done by typing. This actually looks like the best typing game I've seen so far. And I already have it, so I should check it out. For anybody else that wants it, it's 66% off for $5.09. Jeez, I wonder what I paid for it. Maybe I got in a humble bundle or something. Let's just keep on playing. We still need victories. We still need to play things that cost 5 or less, or whatever, 2 or less. Let's see. One recommended view for Epistory says the gameplay was already beautiful, but the ending was so moving. The game is so much more than you would expect from a typing game, and it certainly does look like that. However, I am, to be fair, feeling like I'm being really, really positive for a game because I already own it. Let's look at the 100 negative reviews compared to the 2,495 positive reviews. Let's see. Here's a negative review. I'll keep it short. The game determines the language used for your words automatically. I'm assuming it's based on your regional setting rather than the OS language or any other setting. That by itself wouldn't be so bad, but the words are entirely made up, sometimes using some familiar base, which made the whole experience surprisingly annoying for me. Interesting. Here's a negative one. Got bored halfway through. Had to force myself through the story. Should have played that one to finish the game. So the negative reviews, I think, for the most part, might be from like an early access version of this game. Like, saying the words are made up is just wrong, because I'm seeing English words like germ and wipe and in the screenshots, and so maybe that was an early access thing, or maybe it was a different language thing. So I'd say, yeah, go check out Epistory if you're looking for a typing game. We always kind of need a typing game. If you've got anybody that needs to learn to type or improve their typing. Not a lot of typing goes on these days, certainly, since people are on their cell phones, and I find it often very helpful to just use the voice input on a cell phone. But if you want to work a job where typing is involved, you're probably going to have to be able to touch type pretty well. So programming jobs, journalist jobs, things like that. Lots and lots of jobs could certainly be sped up just with the ability to improve things. Hearthstone had an April Fool's Day joke where they changed the descriptions on all the cards to just Murgles that these Murlocs make. It's pretty obvious joke, but it works. Let's hit that. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article that says Mike Dies is a game about a fatal teleporter accident. This came out 5 days ago, so I doubt it's an April Fool's Day joke. And it looks like a sort of poorly animated platformer game, action platformer. Metroidvania is supposed to come out. The problem with it is it just doesn't look good. So I don't see why I'd want to play this game. And so often PC Gamer feels like they're just advertising games instead of critically looking at games that have come out and might have been hidden gems. Let's see. Let's keep on hitting this. Let's see. For the past, like, this game came out February 23rd, 2018. And it says it has 100% positive reviews. It's selling for $14.99. A patch went live March 13th. Let's see. Really? No negative reviews at all. That is suspicious. That is very, very suspicious to have a game that has 22 positive reviews and no negative reviews. And a lot of these positive reviews, often positive reviews are products we'll receive for free. And the level of quality implied here does not meet with the level of quality in the animation. Yeah, I can't wishlist this game, Mike Dies. It's not a good name either. Like, it seems like it's just trying to rip off that movie, John Dies at the End, which was an interesting movie. Not, I won't say actually good, but interesting at least to watch once. Just nothing here, nothing whatsoever that justifies it being talked about or justifies it being wishlisted. Let's see. What is this? When did this come out? This came out April 1st, so it might be an April Fool's Day joke by Gamatsu. It says Reasoning Adventure Game Buddy Collection is, I believe, is what it says. It says if coming to the Switch this spring in Japan. So, unless there's a series that I've never heard of called Reasoning Buddy, which it says you make buddies and solve gruesome murders. This seems like this is an April Fool's Day joke. Yeah. But if it is an April Fool's Day joke, there's a decent number of pictures that somebody either copied from some other game or actually made. I don't know. Best I can say is keep your ears out for a game called Reasoning Buddy, and see if that gets to the West, and if it gets to the West with that name. Let's see. This I know is an April Fool's Day joke. Path of Exile is a battle royale game for April Fool's Day. No, really. See, that's part of the problem with playing a practical joke in your game, because for the people that don't want to play it and just wanted to play their game, for people like me that need to make pre-recorded footage, if I go on to any online game and it happens to have April Fool's Day changes to it while I'm making pre-recorded footage for content that won't be seen for 6 months, that does not work well at all, and it might require me to change the clock on my computer just to get away from it, and then that sometimes causes problems. Let's see, here we have another April 1st announcement. Arc System Works announces Dungeon RPG Wizard Symphony for PS4 and Switch. This looks a little too polished to be a joke. It looks like it is a dungeon RPG. I didn't think the Japanese got so much into April Fool's Day, honestly, but it seems like the video game section of the Japanese world at least are getting into it now. See, Your Gamer has an article of Outlast 2 on Switch compared to the PlayStation 4. Ever since Your Gamer changed their website and looks differently, I really hate it. Let's see. The final paragraph says, ultimately Red Barrel's effort here on Switch are impressive and the port works. It's a good example of a developer intellectually cutting back the graphical features without unduly compromising the core aesthetic. So it's just kind of the basic things that you would know from the beginning, is that yeah, Outlast won't look as good on the Switch as it did on a PC. Nothing ever will. But if you put a lot of effort into it and you're careful, you can get a decent version of your game on the Switch. Something playable. Speaking of Switches, I went to the local Toys R Us to see if perhaps, even though the Toys R Us right now, at least it seems, Toys R Us are only doing up to 30% off, and things like Legos are only 5% off, and most things in the store are actually only 10% off, which is not really a discount at all. You can very easily buy 10% more things to not save any money in a going out of business sale. But I went there, walked around just to keep an eye on it, see how much inventory is actually there. In comparison, the Baby RS next to it was at its very last day, and they were moving the shelves at the same time. They were moving the shelves out and emptying the place, and they did make it to 90% off, but it went from like the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago it was 60% off, and there was a decent collection at 60% off of more babyish toys, but 90% off, everything was gone. Everything was gone except for, oddly, cards, because I imagine there's just a huge inventory of like birthday, anniversary cards, things like that. That they had extra, things that could have sat on the shelf forever if Babies R Us had stayed in business. But I went to the Toys R Us seeing if maybe I could get a Nintendo Switch for 10% off. I mean, that would probably be as good a discount as you're ever gonna get. They're all gone, at least in my store. So I imagine if there was ever any discount at all, some owner of a GameStop or a independent used game store would have swooped in there and purchased them on the cheap. So yeah, I was kind of hoping that maybe I could get a 30% off, 50% off a Switch, get some games, play some of the Nintendo games, just for my own personal entertainment, and not feel too bad about not making any content for Nintendo stuff, because you can't put Nintendo footage online without them claiming all of it. Although right now, I guess, since they kicked me out of the YouTube Partner Program, and all the small YouTubers out of the YouTube Partner Program, now might be the perfect time to just make a bunch of Nintendo content. So I plan to go back to Toys R Us in 2 weeks and see if they've gotten up to 50% or 60% off at that point, and just keep an eye on it. I wouldn't be super surprised if I don't time it perfectly and actually don't get any kind of discount or buy anything from the Toys R Us going out of business. Moving back to video games, there's a game called Minit, M-I-N-I-T, that is out, and it's being published by Devolver Digital, but it's being very under advertised. It's this black and white looking, I don't even know what you call it. It's I think an RPG where you only play for 60 seconds at a time. So maybe that's the deals, that they just got a very light publishing agreement with Devolver Digital, and it's not that much of a game. That might explain it. Apparently it's supposed to come out on April 3rd, so I opened this a little early. It's not even out yet. I still don't really think you'd want to play this game. Well, I mean, you could certainly spend 60 seconds on it and play it, and very possibly you could spend 60 seconds on it, play it, have your fill of it, and refund it for being too short. Which is a weird thing to do, certainly, but I think as a consumer, we really are going to have to start punishing developers that make too short of games. If your game is not 2 hours long, doesn't get me to play it for 2 hours, then I should just refund it and get my money back, because let's face it, times are tough, and this is and extra spending on things is not an easy thing to do for a lot of people. I'm looking at a game called The Lonely Gorilla that came out April 1st from Thunderground Games. That's the only game they've made. It's 40% off for $5.39. Now what's funny here is, unless this is an April Fool's Day joke or a fake game or it has stolen video, there's a real trailer here that looks good. So this doesn't just feel like it's a Harambe joke game. This feels like you really are going to play as a gorilla. You really are going to have the experience of being in a area, kind of desertish, but it's kind of more of a grassy plain area, and there's animals running around, there's trees, there's large grasses, and while a gorilla is not the biggest predator ever, it would assumedly the gorilla at some point is going to have to eat something from somewhere. Honestly, you're playing as what I think they call silverback gorilla, which doesn't. Yeah, they describe him as a silverback gorilla, which I don't believe belongs in this environment. I think silverbacks are more in the Congo deep rainforests. Let's see, controls on a screenshot. Life bar. You know what this might be is a survival simulation that at least has a interesting twist on it, where your only real goal is to wander around an area and get food and water, but the twist will be, in this instance, that you are a gorilla, and so you should act somewhat accordingly. Alright, let's scroll down and see if we can get something more. It's an early access game for a really expensive amount. Scroll down to what the reviews say. Let's get rid of all of these. Let's see. Like, one not recommended. Let's see. The game is very old and it can't be sold at a and it even can't be sold at beta stage. I like animal simulators very much, but it doesn't have a way to compare to Saurin Beta, S-A-U-R-I-A-N Beta. The keyboard is useless, even if you've already said it. The scare action has 3 buttons, but is the same and has no sound. This is not a well-worded description at all. That's like one of the recommended early access reviews got edited from negative to positive because the developer was responsive, apparently, which I don't think is a very valid reason to change your edit. Game is very early access. The game is very early access. That's all any of these are saying. There's 3 positive reviews and 1 negative. And this is just too expensive a game from a first-time developer, as far as Steam is concerned, to spend that much money. It looks like it's probably an asset flip that is at least doing an asset flip the right way. There's effort here, there's thought here. There's no crazy Roblox block zombies running around. But you really would need to write some kind of story, have some kind of experience. I don't think a gorilla simulator on its own makes a good game. And again, April 1st game, so it might be an April Fool's Day thing. Let's see, destroy this or do this. I can't even do this. If I play this, I lose, so I might as well just play it. PC Gamer has an article, XCOM meets stealthy RPG in a seriously cool Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, which we've seen the trailer for this game. Doesn't have any new information for them to talk about. Still trying to play cards and get victories, and right now we're not getting victories, so let's switch over to casual play and not even try to get ranked victories, because I'm not sure how many news stories I really have to talk about, particularly when PC Gamer is just going to talk about games that have no announced dates and nothing else to have nothing new to really say. Here's a game called Burak, B-U-R-A-K space Bahar, B-A-H-A-R apostrophe S Unseen Anchor. And Barak Bahar is the creator. It's 20% off for $1.59. And it is a like video game developer students flying space shooter game with MS Paint graphics. Like, why give such a nice name to a game that looks so bad? Like, seriously. This is the only game they put on Steam. Valve apparently has figured out how to stop people from flooding Steam with games, but hasn't figured out how to stop people from flooding Valve with games. By which I mean that individual people are still flooding Valve with their first game. But I have, ever since I started looking a couple weeks ago at every single game, I've yet to see more than 3 or 4 people try and release 5 or 6 games at the same time. It's always just one person. And who knows, maybe there are organizations out there making fake names and releasing games under different information. That almost certainly is happening. But yeah, at least Valve is doing something, or trying to do something. There's no reason why you'd want to play this super simple game. No reason why you'd want to pay for it. Let's see. Next game we have is called Golf Cart Drive. It came out April 2nd. It looks like a asset flip where you're driving a golf cart with some very poorly animated jump ramps and just seems almost randomly placed assets as far as golf carts, and there's backgrounds, looks horrible. There's a house that looks horrible. You're driving over the water in the cutscene, or through the water, a very shallow water. They want $3.99 for this game. There's no reason why you'd buy this game. And this is from the developer that made Hovercraft Drive and Skyscraper Climb and Future City Coaster and Yacht Simulator, and like, I think PC Gamer's been talking about Yacht Simulator, and that may have emboldened this fake game maker in a poor way. Hey, that's not good. Nope. Move on to the next game. I've got one called Frol Block. FROL space BLOK. No reviews. First game by this developer, it seems. 15% off for $8.49. All these prices are way too high. Very consistently having issues with this. And for a block, what kind of game is this? Indie adventure cinematic. So it seems almost like Myst-esque game. You pick up items and can look at them. Maybe you can carry them with you. I'm not sure. It looks like it's a VR game though, so it might just be wandering around and picking up items and looking at them and then putting them back down. It requires let's see. It says Froblock has a quest room that's inspired by old school quests. Stuffing that is made out of non-linear story, narrative, and charismatic protagonists. Let's see. What do I want to do? Let's hit this. And hit this. And hit that. They say it's a small game, but if you like it, the story will be continued. Yeah, promises, promises. So this kind of does look like an attempt at doing some kind of Myst like VR game. I wouldn't be surprised if Roblox gets talked about. If it's good, it's hard to say though, because who's gonna put in the $8.50, $8.49 to play this game on their VR system, and then come back and review it? And it's only the HTC Vive support, no Oculus Rift support, which that certainly doesn't help anything anyways. Alright. Let's play this. Do this. And end the turn. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article. Danganronpa. 1 and 2 Steam sales top 200,000. So to celebrate that, Danganronpa Volume 3 has been added to the Steam bundle. That should have been in the Steam bundle from the beginning. So for now if you buy all 3 of them for 10% off, you get $89.97. You can get all 3 of those games. Danganronpa is a popular and known Japanese game. That I guess is getting a little bit of success, but not a ton of success. When you know it's a niche product, it's only getting 200,000 sales for something like Assassin's Creed Origins would mean that Ubisoft would go out of business practically. But it makes these games are made on a budget, so they know what it has, what it costs them. Let's see. There's also Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, and Danganronpa 3 Killing Harmony, which are available separately for the PS4 and Vita. Let's hit that. Let's see. Was Brave Witches VR. Gamatsu has an article. Brave Witches VR Operation Baba Yaga, now available for the PlayStation VR Japan. Brave Witches is this kind of weird anime where these anime schoolgirls have airplane jet legs and they fly around shooting guns. It's a really weird, crazy combination of things, and you can get this game on Steam, but the English language is not supported. I imagine you could probably still figure it out, but I wouldn't go down the route of playing a non-language supported version of something. Let's see. Continue down. Dragon Quest Builders 2 has some first details. So that's not really much of anything. It's just got some screenshots of the 2 main characters, a male and female character, both in cowboy-ish, like rancher getup, clothing, and it looks very much like an attempt to be like Minecraft, this game, except for you're fighting slimes. And maybe there will be more story here, but this really looks like a direct cut and paste copy of Minecraft. Let's play this. And let's do this. And then this. And this. And that. And that. And that. Yeah, I guess that's not really new, so I don't need to talk about that. There's a game that's on sale called Boxing Fighter Super Punch, which looks like yeah, bad graphics, sort of trying to ape 8-bit style or 16-bit style. It's a low resolution graphics that could be a little bit better. And it's 30% off for $1.39, and it's not as much a boxing game as it is a cell phone port. It looks like of a tapping rhythm game. So this could work. There's certainly ways this could work, but let's go ahead and hit this and this and then hit this. And then let's go ahead and hit that. I'm just gonna keep an eye and wishlist on this game. It has had an all-time peak Boxing Fighter Super Punch of 2 players, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but I don't know. This game came out November 25th, 2017, and nobody's ever played it. So maybe now that it's on sale, it'll get a little bit of feedback. But I could also see nobody still doesn't play it. Next game we have is called The Take. It's from Studios, according to what they filled out. 15% off for $8.49. Too expensive. It looks like it is a VR game where you pick up and throw things, and whenever anything moves too fast, it does a comic book bam, boom, poof, pow type sound. Maybe you're looking for something like... The Take is a local hot seat VR game where 2 players assume the role of a competing spies in the golden age of comic books, racing against the clock to hide and seek classified intel while setting or avoiding traps. Well, at the very least, that is a kind of original idea. Let's go ahead and kill this one. And kill this one. And let's hit this one. And this one. And this one. And then return. It does require a new third-party end-user license. It also requires VR. Another VR game that's over expensive. And see, this might be cool, but being VR, I'll never try it, and it doesn't seem like it's more than 5 minutes. And that's the problem with all VR games, is that you really only have about 30 minutes of gameplay in you before you're going to get tired and want to sit down. Unless you are some kind of military trained person who stands for 8 hours with no bit of discomfort whatsoever and actively does things like that. Most people prefer to sit down, tend to sit down, don't have enough energy to sit down, Like, don't get me wrong, I could probably do VR for about an hour, but I would probably only do it for about an hour a day. Let's see. Well, we're slowly making progress. Next game we have is a game called Levanteria. Levantera. Tales of the Winds. It came out April 2nd. It has 1 user reviews. It looks a lot like an NES game. I really, really like an NES game. Which that might work. So it looks very much like Zelda 2 type game, except for you're playing as a pirate, it seems. Has this company made any other games? They made something called Mini Law Ministry of Law before that. Also, it's reviewed positive. 89 of 48 reviews in the last 30 days are positive. And it's early access. It's 40% off, but 40% off for $5.99. So it's just like too expensive. Again, like, they're also claiming they won the Taco Bell Indie Game Garage Inaugural Alumni Award. Like, this is crazy because I really do want to wishlist this game, but I'm totally not going to ever buy it at this price. I'm going to just wishlist it. Thank goodness for the new filtering ability when sales come out. So you can just filter out early access games. Because that means you can now wishlist a lot more things. And then never actually buy any of them. I would like a little bit more controls. Let's see. Moving on to the next story. Sorry, I got a little quiet there. PC Gamer has a article, boss fights good or bad. This is certainly a clickbait article as much as you could guess. And I guess they are asking some famous people or video game designers. Some of these people that responded are saying boss fights are bad. That is not. I mean, you really can't make that argument in my head. Like, I just don't agree with it at all. Boss fights are kind of critical. A major part of video games. You need to have boss fights. Sure, I will fully admit that there have been a lot of games that have done boss fights very poorly, but to say a poor implementation of anything means that the concept itself is bad is just flawed logic. Like, there's plenty of poor implementations of types of government around the world that doesn't inherently mean that the concept of the type of government is flawed. It could just be other circumstances. So that's really a clickbait article. We'll move on. The game War for the Overworlds is getting its final expansion this month, which makes me think that they're pretty much abandoning adding anything to this game. And I know there was a couple Dungeon Keeper clones, and the War for Underworld was certainly one of them, or War for the Overworld was certainly one of them. So it feels like maybe if this is the one that was always early access and never really finished, like a final product deserving how much they were asking for it, that this might be the final nail in the coffin telling me to just don't buy it. War for the Overworld on Steam is 75% of 29 users in the last 30 days rated it positive, whereas 79% of 3,259 users rated it positive overall. It is already on my wish list, and there's some DLC built into it, so if you're going to buy the whole thing, it would be 10% off for the massive amount of $50.36. If you just buy the default game, it's $29.99, all of which are really, really expensive. So it has a Metacritic rating, it says, of 65, which is pretty low for a game. Yeah, I'm thinking at such a high price, it's really, really hard to justify buying the game. Once it's finished, it starts to make a little bit more sense than it still being getting updates, but honestly, that also hurts it, because a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people would justify purchasing an unfinished game under promises of more development. If the developer has said we're done, then they, who knows, like and they don't have any other game. Bright Rock Games, the developer of the War for Overworld, they don't have any other games on Steam, so maybe they're stepping back to work on a new game. Maybe they're stepping back to make a sequel. I guess that's slightly believable. What's this card do? Yep. I imagine there's a good chance that I'll forget or conveniently forget to play the War for the Overworld. PC Gamer has an article. Twitch clarifies its community guidelines after Ninja's slur. Intent matters is the subtitle. Let's see. Now this is yet another one of those stories, I guess. And this wasn't April Fool's Day. This was 12 hours ago, which would have put it, let's see, I don't think. And they're saying Ninja said a bad word, a racial slur in the middle of a song where it wasn't used. Keep on playing. The end of this article is, so it's still not all that clear. Luckily, the path to avoid suspension, although luckily the path to avoid suspension is an easy one. Don't use racial slurs. Man, PC Gamer, you are the last linchpin of news people that I'm still following that talks about this stuff. And I'm not sure if you really should be talking about it. Like, I'm sure on Twitch somebody says something nasty every hour on the hour, at least, if not 10, 20 times an hour or 500 times an hour. People say nasty things all the time. A lot of times they don't mean it, a lot of times they do. You just gotta move on. It's part of my grow up rant. You just need to grow up and not make a big case about it. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article, My Game Design Degree, a Postmortem. It's a editorial blog by somebody who just got a game design degree, and they're looking at it and seeing how useful that really is. One damage and draw a card. Oh, I should have played this first. Oh well. The conclusion to the article is obviously there's only so much I can fit into a blog, but I didn't even mention the school system should model themselves as services and not businesses. That would be nice. How come I only got one bonus pack there instead of two? Seems like the glitches now decided to go the other direction. We've got a new card back we can enable. Let's see. The final paragraph is, if you're a student and want to connect to chat about school advice or game development, you can always find me at Twitter and talk to him. Like, ultimately, I'm of the opinion there's good to be had in game design education and equal parts bad. So it's medium is his final determination. That's pretty bad. That you spent thousands and thousands of dollars getting a game design degree and 4 years, and the best you can say is that it was part good and part bad. That is not good. Here, we'll disenchant that for some dust. And we'll go ahead and make this our new favorite. And where are we going? Well, I'm not sure how much longer. Like, I still got a lot of tabs open, so I've still got a lot of stuff to talk about, but it might be a lot of redundant stuff too. And we've gone for another 45 minutes, so that's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me, gift me something on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.